Talk about this ground mount here today. This is a 3-pole 16 module 72 cell ground mount. As you can see, we've got the rail clamps on 2 of the poles. We've got the poles set. This was one of our ones using a earth anchor, a duckbill earth anchor driven in to hold it onto the ground so we don't have to do an in-ground foundation. So Mike here is going to undo our angle bracket. See, we can use this to pivot it up since we can't reach that by hand. It undoes that bolt and tips it up and then carefully holds it. It'll balance enough with the tension of that bolt to go ahead and get that back angle clamp on without having to get up on a ladder and do it all that way. Saves a bit of time in the field, a couple little installation tricks. Get those back 2 on and then you can tilt that thing back forward and get the front ones done as well. So as you do these installs, you might find an application where your poles aren't all the same height. We ran into that here on this install. This middle one was slightly low when we got it done. We went ahead and raised it up and tightened up the set bolts good and tight, and you can see we've got almost an inch of clearance there. So good way to help tighten up your tolerances on the job without having to add extra work. None of us have time to level everything perfectly. Okay, well you'll see this is going to be a nice clean install when we're done. Okay, so you can see we got those back 2 on. I'm getting ready to tilt that thing forward again. Went ahead and made our marks using the yellow crayon there on the beam so that we'd know where to set the rail. Made it quick and easy to do that. Tilt that back forward with the added weight there on the back end. It centers quite nicely. Makes it fairly easy to set that pole back in there again. Good luck to you all out there. Got our rail clamps on. Now we're getting started on our rail. I'm starting on the middle pole and centering up my rail there so it can splice right over top of that angle. And there's 2 holes in the angle so you can splice that. The outside ones also have the 4 holes, I guess, 2 per side of the rail. I'm only going to be using the outside ones since I'm not splicing the rail over top of this pole. So I'll only be using the elongated holes, not the others. You'll want to make sure that you tip the angles, and when you put them on here, it's possible for there to be a little bit of warp. That angle can be really crooked on the rail, as you can see. So you got to straighten that up a little bit, make sure it's nice and straight when you tighten it down. And then you also want to make sure, that's why I'm starting on the middle there, the rack uses this rack model, this ground mount uses the rails as part of the structure. So I can have a lot of movement in this whole thing until I tighten it down and put the modules on. So a lot of east-west movement on each of the T-sections. So once I get the center all tightened up and then I'm getting ready to do these outsides, I'm going to measure right at the pole cap. Probably going to measure down at the base between the poles and get that dimension. And I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to make that dimension be right from the middle pole to the east or the west, start there, and then work back from there to the other one. We'll get those middles done. Then I'm going to go down and make those same dimensions on the tails down here on the south edge. That's going to straighten everything up, and it'll be nice and true all the way up, so I don't have to fight that all the way through. Finished with all the rail installation, putting on optimizers. This one's a Solar Edge project. Ready for modules after that. Things straightened up real nice and clean. We did have to pull the top and the bottom to get all the T-sections to straighten up. So again, we measured between the posts at the bottom. We measured at the ends of the T-sections. We'll measure between these 2 posts here at the bottom, then come out to this end, measure between those 2, make that dimension be the same as the base. Then I like to move to the top, make that dimension the same as the base and the bottom. And then that should straighten up your middle. If your middle still isn't right, you can sight the T-section to get all exactly the way you want it. Then there's also, when you put the rails on, sometimes you need to tap the angles to get them to straighten up a little bit, get the rails all nice and straight. See, that middle one could use just a little more massaging. So all straightens up nice and good when you're done.